Coming to you from Hilbert College, it is the podcast Running Wild. My name is Gabriel. Follow us on Twitter at Run Wild Podcast, like our Facebook page, Run Wild Podcast. To all my Vermont listeners listening on 90.7 FM and for their live stream, WVTC.net. To start off the pod today, you know, the grass is not always greener on the other side. What am I talking about? Lane Kiffin, offensive coordinator for Alabama. You know, the perennial powerhouse of college football. Let's see, what's he leaving that job for? He's leaving it for Texas. Oh no, that's Tom Herman. Okay, that's fine. He left Alabama for Houston. Oh wait, no. That's Major Applewhite. Let's see, what school did Lane Kiffin leave Alabama for? Florida Atlantic University? Now let's just think about this for a moment. Lane Kiffin has coached at Tennessee, USC, and Alabama, among other places. And he's leaving it for Florida Atlantic University. You know, one of the reasons that he got fired from USC in the first place is because the boosters and the president felt like he was more concerned fitting in with students than being a head coach. He's just, you saw that, I forget which game, but a couple weeks ago, Nick Saban had to yell at him for calling stupid plays in a blowout because he got too complacent. He's not disciplined enough. You know what I do if I'm Lane Kiffin? I roll on that tidal wave all the way up to the top. That's what I do if I'm Lane Kiffin. I don't know, just he's done great at Alabama. He knows his football. That's not a question. He knows his football. But boy, if I'm Lane Kiffin and I fail at Florida Atlantic, I don't know if anyone else is going to hire him. Definitely not for a head coaching position. Just, there seems like too much downside and not that much upside. Florida Atlantic? I don't know. If I'm Lane Kiffin, I don't want my coaching career dependent on the football program at Florida Atlantic. I feel if you wait 2-3 years under the continued guidance of Nick Saban, something else is definitely going to come up. Maybe Michigan State opens up. Texas will open up if Tom Herman doesn't win the championship within 3 hours of arriving there. Maybe Cal, UCLA. Something else, something would definitely open up. I guarantee you something better than Florida Atlantic would have opened up. Plus, he'd then be 2 or 3 more years seasoned under the guidance of Nick Saban. Good luck to Lane Kiffin at Florida Atlantic. I hope he makes it. All right, joining us in studio, it's the NFL crew. Pelly and Curtis are in today. How are we doing today?
Pretty good, Gabe. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now, I've said this over and over again. It's so tough to win in this league. The Raiders game this past Thursday, that was a great example of it. They were red hot. They didn't show up against the Chiefs. The offense didn't. Derek Carr had an off day. Was this more about the Raiders having an off day, or were the Chiefs just that good?
I think the Chiefs played a lot better than I thought they would. I thought Derek Carr would have an amazing day, especially after the last couple weeks he's had, but I think having his dislocated pinky in that cold weather did something to him.
Maybe.
I'd have to agree, Gabe. I think the Chiefs had a really good day, but I do think that Carr undershot himself a little bit. He only had 110 yards, no touchdown.
Right.
I mean, you'd like to see a touchdown out of a quarterback at that level.
You called it, by the way, Kurt.
I know. I like the Chiefs. I ride the Chiefs.
Right. No,
You only like one player on the Chiefs, Kurt.
He's not even playing for him
He
anymore.
hasn't played in 3 years.
I do like the Chiefs. The defense did well against
No,
Oakland.
the Chiefs defense, they showed up. They showed up.
Rough week for Oakland, we'll say that much.
Right.
I mean, but it's only rough because they played such a good defense. They played the Bills last week. They still would have smoked them.
Okay, that's fair.
Chiefs are just that good.
All right. I'll buy that. How about the Dallas versus the Giants game?
I mean, the Giants showed up. I personally thought it was going to be a massacre for the Giants. Like, Dak, Zeke. I mean, Zeke had a pretty good day, but the defense was just too good.
Right, Zeke showed up.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott had an off day again,
he didn't
too.
show up. Cowboys are now 10 and Giants.
10 and Giants.
Well, it seems like that's the only team that can stop them at this point.
Yeah, it's very weird how the Giants always show up against the best teams.
Yeah, not the team that you thought they'd show up
Right.
against.
So, you've said you don't think the Giants will make it in the playoffs because of their upcoming schedule. Now, we've seen they can compete with the best. How about against worse teams? Will they show up? Will the Giants sneak into the playoffs?
I don't know if you're gonna like my answer, Gabe, but
I
I'm
like
still
the
saying
truth.
no.
Really?
I'm-
Okay.
For
Pelly,
some
who-
reason, they can.
Pelly, who are the teams that they have left to play?
In order,
In order? Oh, off the
In
top of your
order.
head, in
Off
order?
top of
I'll
my
be
head,
impressed I'll be
yeah.
impressed if you can get
they
this.
play against the Lions, then the Eagles, then the Redskins.
Hey, that's run wild worthy right there. So you still don't see it happening, Kurt?
No, because honestly, they show up against the Cowboys.
Okay.
Who else have they shown up against? It's been a
That's
very
been
hard win
right.
for them. They got smacked by the Steelers by 10. Or no, by 14. Sorry. Don't quote me. They beat the Browns, not a hard win. They beat the Bears when they were in this season.
Right.
They're doing nothing. They slid by the Bengals by 1
And
point.
Bengals are having an off year.
They beat the Rams.
They
None
beat-
of their wins are showing
Okay.
impressing feelings to me except for the Cowboys. I think the Lions are good. I think Matt Stafford's having a great year. I think they'll slide by the Eagles personally. And I think Kirk Cousins is in for another great day.
Okay.
And I think he's going to beat the Giants too. I think they're going 1-2 to finish this season off.
Okay. The game against the Cowboys was all about the Giants' defense.
Oh yeah, no.
Their
no
defense
question.
that they paid so much money for finally showed up and paid off. Bar one 70-yard reception by Odell Beckham Jr., there was almost no offense in
Oh,
that
yeah.
game.
Not at all.
So
Gabe, I got a question for you.
I have answers.
You think the Redskins will beat the Panthers? That's just the question I have to ask.
Ooh.
Not getting into
Ooh.
the next part of our
Ooh.
pod here, but do you think that they'll beat the Panthers?
I think so, yeah.
Because if so, then I see the Redskins finishing 3-0.
Okay.
So
Why, who
I
else
don't-
do the Redskins play?
The Bears,
Okay.
and then they finish with the Giants. So I see them going 3-0, and then
Ooh.
they're in, and
Definitely
the
have it.
Giants are out.
Definitely have it easier last 3 games than the Giants.
Yeah, I'd have to say, if you ask me, Gabe, the Redskins are in, and the Giants are out in my eyes.
All right, let's move on, though. Talk about the Bills. The
Yeah.
Bills.
Yep.
What was that like?
I mean, it was personally good for me because I had Le'Veon Bell. Gave me 50
Okay.
points, but I still somehow lost. Shout out Nick Clay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The rest of my team couldn't even put up 50 points.
Wow. Were you?
No, I was not at the game, Gabe, but I was sitting on my couch, with a nice little hot coffee watching.
Right.
And I can't figure out how to stop Le'Veon Bell. You blitz the line at him, and as soon as he gets the ball, he stops. He's one of those running backs that I'd like to say are like no other, that he stops when he gets the ball right off the bat, and he waits for something to open, and then
Right.
he crushes the gap.
It looks like he's playing follow the leader with his
Yeah.
line when he runs.
Uh-huh.
Anytime you see a running back do that, Le'Veon Bell ran for more yards than the entire Buffalo Bills offense had that day. That sucks for a Bills fan, but that's pretty incredible in my
Right.
mind.
Against LaShawn McCoy and that O-line, they'd been running wild for
And
the
Ben
longest time.
Roethlisberger, I mean, what did he do?
He threw 3 picks.
Yeah, Big Ben didn't help their cause at all. Without Le'Veon that game,
Right,
it's over.
They won despite Ben.
Yeah. The Bills' running defense this year has been piss poor. Ajayi destroyed them, and Le'Veon kicked them when they were down, to say.
Right.
Rex Ryan, the defensive specialist, can't
Oh,
even
yeah.
stop running backs.
Yep.
That's what we're
It's
working
probably just the players, though, right?
on. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's not
It's not the players. They have a really talented roster.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Also, rushing 3
It's
against
both
the
games.
best running back in the world doesn't help either.
I don't. Honestly, if I wasn't in Buffalo right now, I wouldn't even talk about the Bills.
I'd have to agree with you. I mean,
I think most people wouldn't.
What?
Antonio
What?
Brown saying before that game that he's going to be covered by Gilbert and that other guy. You know that they came into this game,
And that other
and
guy.
that was about it. They knew they were going to come into this
Right.
game, and they knew they were going to
All
destroy
right.
us.
Let's just face reality for a moment, boys. The report's already in. Rex Ryan and Tyrod Taylor to be out before the end of the season.
I mean, I personally think that Rex Ryan should have been fired either yesterday or today
Okay.
because you're not playing that good of teams the rest of the season, and the season's basically over. Just give Cardell Jones an opportunity and give Anthony Lynn, who I think is deserving of at least an intern coaching job.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Cardell Jones needs to be out there. Tyrod, we're out of the playoffs.
Right. The verdict's in on Tyrod.
It's over. We need to give him a shot. And the thing that bothers me the most is because I was at that at the field house the day Rex Ryan came in, new coaching, we did all
Right.
that, and he said we're gonna build a bully. Le'Veon Bell bullied us.
Right.
Every team we've been playing this year, if we don't dominate them and it's not that great of a team, we're going to win. But a good team, we're getting bullied by them, and the only thing I've seen come from Rex Ryan is more undiscipline from players than I've ever seen in my life. We have no discipline on our team. We're taking more penalties than any team in the NFL. You want to not blame the coach for that, but you want to say it's the players' fault. They're not disciplined. But it's
That's
all
a culture.
coaching.
That's a culture.
And
Too-
you know
too
Rex Ryan's an undisciplined man himself.
Right.
And I don't know. We need to find somebody that's going to stay around. We need to find a franchise quarterback.
right.
And I just don't know if that's going to happen.
I want to see Cardale Jones play because he's got the stuff that you can't teach: the size, the arm, NFL arm. We just got to see, is he accurate?
What's
I
there to
don't-
lose?
Right. Just give him a chance. You get better playing football, believe it or not, by playing football.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can learn on the sidelines.
I got a question, Gabe.
I have answers.
How would you feel if the Bills traded for Tony Romo?
I did see that. Ooh, that's tough. That's
I mean,
tough.
you get 2, maybe 3 years out of him.
Uh-huh.
You obviously get rid of Tyrod and EJ Manuel.
Right.
You have Cardell as the backup. He's going to get a ton more snaps. You let
Right.
Tony Romo do what he did to Dak, do it the same thing to
Could it happen
Cardell.
to Cardell, are you asking? I think it could.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
honestly like that. I really do. Because you'll pay him a lot of money,
I mean,
okay?
you're gonna pay him.
But you're getting a good
You're
quarterback
gonna
for a
get
few
two.
years.
You're gonna get
For 2 games
quarterbacks.
until he gets hurt,
And
and,
you're
then
getting
and then he can coach
Yeah.
Cardell. I
Yeah,
agree.
exactly.
You're getting a great mentor and a good quarterback.
Right.
I like it. It's just how much is that paycheck?
You pay Tony Romo and you draft a wide receiver like Juju Smith-Schuster out of USC,
Yep.
and then you get more offensive. line.
Yeah, you'd want to you got to build a wall around.
Yeah.
Romo ain't running out of there.
Right. That is not a horrible direction to go in if you're
Yeah.
the Bills. I like that.
mean,
I really do.
And then you don't really need to change the roster on defense. You just need to change
Yeah,
the
you-
schemes.
Yeah, it's schemes and the head and the coaching personnel.
We'd have a 2-year franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
that's
we'd have
good.
a franchise
like it.
quarterback after that.
Right, and then you see what else pops up. Someone else.
This would be the first elite quarterback that the Bills have had in years.
Uh-huh.
Drew Bledsoe.
Not elite. He's on his way out, but he was
He
elite.
was elite though. He was elite.
I'd take him over Tyrod or any quarterback we've had in the last 5 years. I don't even want a list because it's longer than my fingers.
Right.
But I'd like Tony Romo.
See, I hope the Pagulas, I know you listen to this podcast. I hope you heed our advice.
You want another good word, Gabe?
What's a good
Pliable.
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 Tom Brady is the
Tom
most
Brady is
pliable.
Jeez,
Oh,
John.
I think they
Gruden.
talked about that for 5-6 minutes.
Who's the intern that came up with that?
pliable? I guess he's pliable.
I guess.
Tony Romo is not pliable.
No.
No, he's not.
I mean, Tony Romo could play the first half of the season and then Cardell the second because he's
Right.
used to weather
We need to
under
build a
70
wall.
degrees.
Dallas was good because they had a wall.
right.
And he still got hurt.
If we can get a wall, Romo would be great.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't think Romo would be good here.
Let's move on. Preview the upcoming games of the week. Will the Browns win? They're at the Bills.
No.
No. Will this be Rex Ryan's signature win? I think it might be.
I mean, Rex Ryan will probably talk about this win for about a couple of years.
That'll be on his resume.
Yeah, beating the winless Browns.
If there is a team the Browns are going to beat, it could be the Bills. I'm picking the Bills, but
You
it
wouldn't
would
be shocked.
It would be a Billsy thing to do to lose to the Browns.
Okay.
Shady might do what Le'Veon did to the Bills last week, what he'll do to the Browns.
You better hope. All right, so I think I can't see the Bills losing to the Browns. Come on. If the Bills lose to the Browns, just fire Rex Ryan on the spot. If it hasn't been done already by the time you're listening to this podcast. What am I predicting? The Chargers will lose to the Browns next week.
Ooh.
I don't agree there. Why?
What?
You heard it here
But why?
first. They're
Oh, Melvin Gordon is out.
I still like Danny Woodhead. I like him more than the whole Browns team.
I think the Chargers have been struggling a little bit. They might sleep on the Browns. The Browns they're dreadful. They're
Yeah.
absolutely dreadful.
Shout out to Pac-Man Jones for saying Terrell Pryor is garbage as he is. I don't know why you and Trav think he's so good.
He's just athletic, and he's got a lot of potential.
And he's the best player on the worst team in the NFL.
Right,
so he
right.
actually looks decent.
All right. That's a good point. That's a good point. I can't see a team going 0 for the century. Maybe it's the optimism within me.
It is the 1 year anniversary since the last time the Browns won today. And you know who is at quarterback?
Who?
Johnny Football.
Hey.
Bring him back, Browns.
All right. Next game, Lions at the Giants.
I'm actually looking forward to this game a
Yeah,
lot.
this will be a good game.
Matt Stafford is making a case that he should be in the MVP running. I don't see him doing it against a good Giants defense. Eli has been, I don't know, he struggled last week against the Cowboys,
Right.
but I still think that OBJ will have a good game. Giants win.
I'm going to pick up right where Anth was. Matt Stafford's making a good fight for himself for MVP, and I think this game's going to help him even more. I like Matt Stafford a lot. I've liked him for a few years. And I'd like to say the Lions can do this to make a playoff push or try to do something down this season. And like I said, I see the Giants losing this one earlier. I see them going 1-2 to finish the season and probably not sneaking into the playoffs. But I'm going to go with the Lions here.
This will be a good game. This will be a good game. I think the Giants have too much offensive firepower that hasn't been shown yet. They got to turn it on if they're going to win this game, and I think they will, because the Lions' defense is okay. It's okay. The only hope of the Lions winning is Matthew Stafford going off. But I'm going to pick the Giants for this game. All right, the next game to keep their playoff hopes alive, Patriots at the Broncos.
This is going to be a pretty good game. Tom Brady is going to have an even better day than he did on Monday night.
Even at Denver?
It doesn't matter. It's Tom Brady, Gabe. It's Tom Brady.
Okay. What do you think?
Bet on Brady. He's, what's
It's
that
a
word again?
shoo-in.
What is that word again?
It's very
Pliable.
pliable. Very pliable.
Easily bent and can shape to the situation he has.
Yes.
His wide receivers, Amendola's out, Gronk's out. And look how good he is making Chris Hogan look. Wow.
True.
I wish that Chris Hogan, I wish we had a quarterback to do that. I was saying the other night, Sammy Watkins goes to the Patriots, best wide receiver in the NFL.
Pro Bowler.
Pro Bowl, best wide receiver in the NFL.
Hall of Famer.
LeGarrette Blount, he's having a great season too. He's pushing for, I think he's had a touchdown in the last 6 games he's played.
Right. He already has over 1,000.
yards,
Yep.
I'm going with the Patriots. I don't see a team to stop the Patriots.
Right. So for me, the offense is just too poor for the Broncos to beat the Patriots, but I think it'll be a fun game.
Oh, yeah.
For the key for the Broncos winning is that defensive front seven.
They need to keep the Patriots under 3 touchdowns, and I don't see them doing that.
Right. I think it'll be a fun, entertaining game to watch, though. These are important games coming up with only 3 games left in the season. Buccaneers at the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys are fighting for that number 1 spot. And the Buccaneers, they're still in playoff contention. Who will win?
It's in Jerry World, so that gives Cowboys a slighter edge. Zeke playing pretty well. Jameis Winston having a surprising year, because I personally didn't think he was even going to be a quarterback after 2 or 3 years.
Right. He surprised a lot of people.
I still think the Cowboys will win.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys. Dak had an off week last week, so we're going to hope that Dak won't have an off week again with all the promise he's shown this year. And Zeke's just lighting up the NFL.
Right.
I'm taking the Cowboys.
Right, yeah. It's those exact reasons. I think it'll be a fun game, though, huh? All right. Panthers at the Redskins for the Monday night game. What do we think?
I think Cam Newton is going to have another day of being on primetime television and disappointing the entire country.
Wow.
Kirk Cousins is for real, Gabe. He is for real.
You like that?
I love that.
I love that. Redskins win.
Wow. I'm loving the way Ant's talking about Kirk Cousins. I love Kirk Cousins. He is my fantasy quarterback day one. Huge fan of Kirk Cousins. And I like Jamison Crowder. He's making wide receivers that you wouldn't have thought we're going to be that good, look great. You know, he had a rough first half last game against Philadelphia. You thought they were going to lose, honestly. I did
Right.
at halftime, and he just comes out and throws for, I think he threw for 140 yards in the second half alone. He had a great second half. I'm riding Kirk till the end this year, Gabe.
Okay. Yeah, the Panthers have just been too disappointing. Boy, what a drop off, huh?
Oh yeah.
What a drop off. Yeah, Redskins win this. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. Rookie of the year. Anyone else besides Ezekiel Elliott?
No.
I couldn't name you another rookie that's relevant.
Right. All right, so he's a shoo-in. MVP race. Who do
Close.
we like?
Close again.
As
I
of right
got-
now. As of right
As
now.
of right now, I'll give you my top 4.
Okay.
You got Tom Brady at the top. You got Matt Ryan and Derek Carr in that order, second and third.
Okay.
You got Zeke at 4,
Okay.
and you got Matt Stafford at 5.
Okay.
I 100% agree with that.
Really?
Except I
Okay.
think I put Matt Stafford above Dak. I like Matt Stafford.
Wait, you said Zeke or Dak?
Zeke.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You didn't put Dak in there.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, then I agree. I like.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
wouldn't put Dak in there because
No.
there are games where the offensive line and Ezekiel Elliott just carried him.
I know I argued
MVP
it.
quarterback, you got to throw for at least 3,500 yards.
Well,
I-
yeah. There were games where he only threw 15, 17 times.
I argued Ant last week with the whole Tom Brady and the MVP hunt, but man, watching this guy, it's
Mm-hmm.
he's catching up to everybody, and he
He's got 4 less games
Yeah.
played.
and he threw his second interception of the season.
Right.
What, yesterday? 2
Yeah,
days ago?
yeah.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, right.
It's insane to see how much more elite of a quarterback he is than anybody else.
Oh, it's not even
It's
close.
It's a drop off. Like
Not
we
even
always
close.
said, like Aaron Rodgers, he's second. It's close. It was getting, but where's Aaron Rodgers now?
Right.
Tom Brady is 40 years old, and he's throwing better than
39.
39.
39 and 5/6.
Yeah.
And he's throwing better than these young quarterbacks. You'd think the arm would start to go bad, but watching him play live at Buffalo when we did, this guy drops dimes.
Right.
All right, so they got 3 games left in the season.
Right.
He's played 4 less than
Because of the
everybody else.
suspension.
Yes. He has 2,876 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
Wow.
And he kicked Anth out of the fantasy football.
And he single-handedly
At
beat
Nick
me,
Clay.
beat me in fantasy, yes.
Wow. Can you give us numbers for other quarterbacks just for comparison?
I mean, you got Drew Brees, who's got 4,100 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, but he throws 50 times a game.
Right.
And he's played 4 more games. Matt Ryan, 4,050 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, which is pretty good. Then you got Kurt's boy, Kirk Cousins, at number 3, with 4,045 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions.
And what's Derek Carr at?
Derek Carr is at number 8 with 3,492 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions.
Okay, I'll tell you where I was before you told me this. To me, I was thinking, okay, so 70-80% of that is just Tom being great, and the other 20% is Bill Belichick, the system. And that's why I take a little bit away from Tom, and which is why I would give the MVP to Derek Carr, because without him, the Raiders are
Nothing.
borderline or irrelevant.
You're right.
And so, but that changed everything for me right there, what you just said. Ooh, I think,
Tom Brady is also second in yards per attempt by a
right,
quarterback.
and he takes care of the ball. That's so important.
And he's on the best team in the NFL.
And he's going to win the Super Bowl.
But the MVP's before the Super Bowl.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a little resume builder. Ooh, okay, I'll tell you where I'm at now. I'm at 52-48. I would give it to Derek Carr over Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Wow,
I'd
so
agree
everybody
with ya.
else is just out. It's down to 2 to you?
Oh, to me, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Matt Ryan.
Kirk Cousins has to be in the fight.
If the Redskins make the playoffs, Kirk Cousins has a legit
Opportunity, not
legitly-
chance.
Yes.
He
should be in the discussion. You're saying.
Yeah, he's not
Okay.
gonna win, but like I'd
Okay.
like to hear his name in the talk.
It's like the Ballon d'Or when Ronaldo and Messi are in, and they just put two
and the
names
third
to fill it.
play,
Yeah,
whoever,
Yeah.
yeah.
He is the Frank Ribery of the Ballon d'Or.
Okay.
other than NFL MVP.
So this will be our last pod for this year.
It's sad.
It is. It's
It
a
is
little sad.
sad.
I've had a lot of fun doing this.
Oh yeah.
Tell me, because we come back in January, right in time for the Super Bowl and for the final playoff
Yes,
games.
yes.
Tell me, what do we have to look forward to for this to end the year? To end the year. And our player to watch for the end of the year.
I mean, for all you fantasy listeners out there, if Bilal Powell is in your free agency, please pick him up. Matt Forte is done for probably the next 2 weeks, maybe the season.
Mm-hmm.
He got 30 carries last week and had over 30 fantasy points. If you want to win the championship, he's your way to win it.
You could say the same thing about Danny Woodhead on the Chargers without Melvin Gordon, but I mean my thing to watch, Gabe, is I want to see what exactly happens with Oakland to close out these last few games, and I want to see this Giants finish.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
I don't think
right?
that they're going to make the playoffs, but that's just me. I mean, maybe Eli will pull something and prove it to me, but
He'll pull the rabbit out of his hat.
that's
for
what I
the
wanna
third
see.
time.
To your point, Kurt, if we take the Eli that we have been seeing, the Giants will not make the playoffs. I'm betting on that Eli turns it up. That's what I'm betting on. To your point, I agree with you, Kurt. 90%. So for me, first of all, my player to watch is going to be Jay Ajayi.
Okay.
The Dolphins go as he goes. I think they got to win 2 of the last 3, I think, and then they're in the playoffs. Man, this is it.
this is
This is it.
This is it.
I'll see you Super Bowl Sunday, Gabe.
All right.
Party in our room. Nice pizza, some pop.
Right.
I'll see you there.
Okay.
All right.
Guys, it's been great. Thanks for doing this.
Thank
Thank
you.
See you in the new year.
See ya.
Joining us in studio, it's Ben Unverhau. Welcome.
Thank you. Close enough.
You're a Steelers fan here in Bills country. How did that happen?
Oh no, this is still Steelers country.
Oh,
Everywhere
this-
is Steelers country. You trust me.
Okay.
You go around.
Yet Dallas is America's team.
I mean, I guess they're making a comeback this year, so I can't really say much. They beat the Steelers, so
Right. How
Well-
did you become a Steelers
Head and Shoulders.
fan?
I saw the commercials with Troy Polamalu, and I was like, this is when I was first getting into football. I started seeing the Head and Shoulders commercials on TV. They had Troy Polamalu on there, and I was like, well, shoot, he must be good if he's got a Head and Shoulders commercial. So I started YouTubing Troy Polamalu and seeing how he played and doing crazy things, jumping over the offensive line and timing the snap just right. And just making an unbelievable plays. I was like, wow, this is the team I want to like. Little did I know I didn't become a fan until like the year after they beat the Cardinals for the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
So I missed out on seeing them win the Super Bowl. I rooted for the Cardinals.
That is poor
that year.
timing.
It was really
Wow.
bad timing, and they had an awful couple of years after that for a little while.
They've had a little resurgence.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
In the AFC North, they might win it.
Right now, they're in the lead ahead of the
Right.
Ravens.
It's going to come down to the final couple weeks, I think, for them. But
Yeah.
they're in good. They're in good shape.
Oh,
to
they got a really
qualify.
easy schedule for the
Right,
rest of
right.
the year. They got next is the Bengals, who they already beat and have been having a rough year. They've been beaten up. Next, then they play the Ravens, which will basically decide.
Right. That will be the pivotal game
That's going to
for
be a big
both
game.
for both clubs.
Yeah, 'cause then
franchises.
After that, you got the Browns, so that's a gimme.
Right.
Right.
No, if I'm a Steelers fan, which I'm not, I feel good about my
Sorry.
chances to. You're sorry. I'd feel good about my chances to make the playoffs, and then in the playoffs, anything can happen.
Anything. Oh my God, anything can happen. I mean, the Ravens come out of left field. The Ravens are scary because if they get into the playoffs, they're kind of magical. It's scary.
Right.
You really don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they just went toe to toe with the Patriots last night.
Right.
They lost, but it was a good game. And it was funny listening to the announcers of that game starting off. When the Patriots were up like 2 touchdowns or something, they were up by quite a bit. And like, oh, it looks like Tom Brady could put another signature win in the books. Put this one away early, and then by the end of the fourth quarter, they're like, oh, don't you wish these 2 teams would play every week? I'm like, wow, you just flip-flopped right there, didn't you?
Right. Oh yeah, the Patriots special teams kind of let them back in that game. The Ravens and
Oh,
the Ravens
that blocked field goal when they just went up and over.
No. I'm saying the muffed punts.
Oh,
the,
yeah, those two.
Right, right. That was a cool play though. That blocked field goal.
The guy looked shocked, honestly. That when he got over the line, he kind of had a moment of, oh, I did it.
What's the next step? What do I do now?
Yeah, and then he actually did, and I was like, good for you.
No, it was a fun game. The Ravens and the Giants. They're two teams that they're maybe not as good against other competition, but they always step up against the Patriots.
Yeah, when the pressure's on, they kind of flip a switch a
Right,
little bit.
right.
So
Let's talk a little more about your experience here at Hilbert. Through the CJFS club, you went to Lake Placid, right?
Well, we got to go to Lake Placid this year, and we got to listen to a bunch of the minds of the people who are working in the field in the criminal justice system.
Oh,
and
okay.
Who also are just involved in education and criminal justice for New York. And we just got to hear a lot of ideas of things that are going on right now in the field as far as hiring or different issues they're dealing with, things that apply to students directly. It was nice. We got to see some of the Hilbert professors there giving presentations.
Did you get a look at the awesome environment, the beautiful environment that's around there in that region?
Oh, yeah, we got to go around there. We got to see the Olympic Center. We were right on Mirror Lake. It was where the conference was. It was beautiful.
So nice.
Yeah, I got some nice pictures of when I woke up that morning, just looking over the lake, and
Right.
I was waking all the other guys up right at the crack of dawn. Like, guys, come look
Oh,
at
you
this.
got
Come
to
look
see
at
the
this.
sunset? I mean,
No,
the sunrise, my
yeah.
bad. The
Well,
sunrise.
the sunset was beautiful out there too, but you know,
I
the
think the
side of
sunrise is
yeah,
better.
the
That's
sunrise.
that's
Well, that
me
was right. It
personally.
was literally right out our windows.
Right,
So,
right on the lake. Oh,
Yeah, I was waking up Josh Van Hog, and he's like, "What? I don't want to get." I'm like, "Dude, just come look at this." And he steps outside. He's like, "Oh, thank you for waking me up." I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, you're welcome."
Shout out Josh Von Hog.
Yeah. No, he had a good time. I had a good time. It was a really good conference. We had Alex, Nikki, Michaela, and Jamina were all out there
Right.
representing the ladies at Hilbert College.
Okay.
They dressed up way better than we did. You know.
All right, here's the reason why I asked you about Lake Placid. I'm a huge fan of the Adirondacks, of that area of the country. I've lived in a couple places. Okay, I lived in Europe. I lived in Nebraska, Texas, now in New York. The Adirondacks is one of my favorite places, and that area of the country is one of my favorite places. It's so beautiful. It's
beautiful.
I love the home and
You
I love
feel
the
at
small
home.
knit community environment that's up
Yeah.
there too.
Well, and it's amazing that people will try and travel. Oh, I got to go see the Grand Canyon. I got to go see Yellowstone. All these other places that all the way across the country, or they want to go across the world. Go right in your backyard,
Right.
out here. I mean, my family's up from Plattsburgh,
Okay.
so right in that area by Lake Champlain and all
Right.
that, Beartown, Beekmantown, Shazy, if all you know where that is. But we got if you know Riel's Vegetables, that's my grandpa. Go buy some veggies there. We make them
Shout
fresh.
out to Rio's Vegetables.
Yeah, Riel's Vegetables. Dick Riel, he drives the school bus up there. Say hello.
Hey.
But so we'll go. I mean, but you go up there. It's beautiful. Just to drive up.
Mhm.
You got Mountain Popo Moonshine up on the way up. You can see people climbing up the rock face when you're just driving on the highway, and it's all these just. If you just go outside and get off your phones for 5 minutes and see what's right out in
Whoa,
your
Ben!
backyard.
All right, calm down. Wow. Wants us to put our phones down.
Yeah, put it in your
come
pocket.
on,
you know.
well, in our
take
pocket.
a selfie
oh
once
my-
you're at the top of the mountain, right?
All right, it's 2016, Ben. Let's calm down.
All right. Going all Theodore Roosevelt on you.
Speaking of that area of the country, have you ever been to Vermont?
I have been to Vermont.
What was your impressions of that beautiful, beautiful state of Vermont? Shout out to all my Vermont listeners, the 90.7 FM, WVTC.net for the live stream.
All right, and yeah, I mean, it was great out there. We went. My friends had a cabin out there. We were in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't tell you where the town was or anything, but I knew the time of year we were there. The snow was like 5 feet deep or something. My one friend fell through the ice on this little pond that was there. We had
Oh,
a pond
good.
Inside. Yeah, hypothermia. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing like a good camping trip like getting hypothermia.
It's a story.
Right. So no, but we're going in. Our whole mission was to see a moose. We were in moose country out there. It was. We saw some tracks and everything, and it was crazy. Just with how long their legs are, they don't mind the snow at all. They're just trucking
Oh,
right
okay,
through it.
yeah.
But you don't realize how big these things are until you see them up close, and you're like, oh shoot. You play basketball? Like, I don't know. They're just ginormous, but it was beautiful country out there. Like something off a postcard.
Right.
I would go back in a
I
heartbeat.
love the Adirondacks, Vermont area. Oh, it's so beautiful. Where's your favorite place in the country, you think, that you've been to?
It would be Alaska.
Alaska?
Yeah, when I got to go to Alaska.
That's awesome.
That was, I mean, it was right during my birthday time too.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, it was right in the middle of the summer. So 24-hour sunshine.
Yeah, that's... Did
Drove
that
me
mess with your mind at all?
Not really, because, I mean, I didn't notice.
Okay.
Like, not that I was oblivious, but, like, when you go to bed, you look at the clock and you're like, oh, shoot, it's like 10 at night.
Uh-huh.
Sun's right out in the middle of the day. So you just go and shut all the blinds and everything. And
Oh,
try
okay,
and-
okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, was there any peculiar wildlife that was running wild?
I mean, there were bears out there.
Good.
There were bears. We went to see, because it was my brother's Make-A-Wish trip.
Mm-hmm.
So his Make-A-Wish trip was that he wanted to go and see an Alaskan brown bear.
Right? Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know where he came
And
up
that
with it, but we
that
loved
came
it.
that dream came true. That wish came true.
Oh yeah, that wish came true. We went to it was there's a wildlife refuge. We got to go up there and see the brown bears, and you know they come right up to this little fence, the border of the place, and they'll come up and they start waving at you and stuff. And
Really?
oh yeah, you wave at them, they'll wave back. And,
Wow.
no, it was great because they're used to people coming there and like, please don't feed the bears because
Well,
these,
yeah.
these are wild bears.
Right,
There is a
right.
fence, but this is the wilderness.
Right.
We're just kind of they're not gated in. You're kind of gated in. There were some orcas going around. We did like a little cruising. Yeah, there's.
I am so jealous right now. You got to see an orca in person.
Yeah,
Wild.
it wasn't like close, but they were kind of off. You could see them.
I don't care. That's still
Yeah,
amazing.
we went up to see the glaciers, and like right on my birthday, I got to go fishing. The weather was so bad that we couldn't like get out of the harbor, but I still caught a. There was like a salmon. I don't know.
You caught a salmon?
Yeah, I caught a salmon.
That was about, how big would you say that is? A couple feet?
I wouldn't say it quite capped out at 2, but it was like maybe 1.5 feet. It was,
Okay,
It
okay.
was small. It was silver, but it was the saltwater ones. But it tasted great.
I'm sure it did.
Oh, it was
I'm
delicious.
sure it did. Nope, you can't sell me on that. No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, real wild caught salmon. I don't want any of that. No, but it was
Man,
good.
that's awesome.
It was
you-
a trip of a lifetime, and if I could go back in a heartbeat, I would.
Well, yeah, I think anyone would. You had a run wild experience,
Oh
Ben.
yeah, I got to take so many pictures, and I just kind of, because it was 24-hour daytime, while the rest of my family was sleeping one night, I just kind of went out because I couldn't sleep and it was bright and sunny out. So I just
Uh-huh.
went out with my camera. I started taking pictures of the mountains and things, and just something, even this little flower,
All right. You've been
No, it was cute. It
You've
was
been
great.
bragging this whole time, and you've
I
been
loved
rubbing
it.
it in our faces. Would you
Oh,
mind
yeah.
sharing some of the pictures with us?
I mean, sure, I got them on my Facebook. I
Oh.
could send them to you.
Yeah. We'll share it. We'll share it through our Twitter and Facebook page. Run Wild Podcast for our Facebook and Twitter page.
We're running wild.
You know what? In all this excitement, I didn't ask you. So what? You were there at the Bills game, Ben, right?
Yes, that's actually why we're here, folks. Believe it or not, Gabe asked me to come in to talk about my experience at the Bills game. This is all just bonus because we like you guys.
Yeah. We've seen animals run wild. We see LaShawn McCoy running wild. Sometimes our thoughts on this podcast run a little wild.
A little wild.
And I think it's appropriately named. So let me ask you, how great, you were in the 200 row seats?
I was in section 203, right up there, row 3.
How great was it to see Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown do work in person?
Oh, it was way better than last year because last year I had preseason tickets. They
Right.
played for like one set
Well,
of
yeah.
downs and they were gone. So this year, you want to talk about running wild? Le'Veon Bell
Yeah.
running wild. Got my terrible towel waving right here in the studio. Back off. I don't even care. It was great. The Bills fans weren't too happy about it, but I was happy. Looking out in the stands there were so many terrible towels waving around. You really would have thought you were in Heinz Field.
We've run all over this.
We've been running wild.
We've been running wild.
No fences here. We're running wild.
Man, it's been so much fun though, Ben. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Anytime.
Look, Christmas shopping is hard enough as it is, and half the time it's for someone you don't even like anyway. Let Wolfpack Clothing help you this holiday season. Wolfpack, WOLFPAK.BigCartel.com. Joining us in studio, it's Ryan Carino. Welcome.
Welcome to me.
I like that. That's staying in.
Okay.
So, sports, our athletes run wild. As we just heard from Ben, animals can run wild. You know what else can run wild? Our thoughts. Specifically in the form of conspiracy theories. Ryan Carino, first of all, how did you get into conspiracy theories? What do you like about them so much? And what's your favorite one?
Well, my favorite part about conspiracy theories is they can be as far-fetched as possible,
Right.
or they can be close enough to the truth that they really you sit there and you think about, wow, that could actually be like really, really true. Like that actually could have happened. They have enough facts to back up that the theory might actually be reality, and what we know is the truth might actually be wrong. I mean, that's what leads into one of my favorite conspiracy theories, which is the Pearl Harbor theory. The Pearl Harbor theory has to do with World War II, when we actually just had the anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack by the Japanese. And when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, it really brought America into the war, which
Right.
up to that point, America wanted no part in
Right.
the war.
Without that attack, America's not getting in World
Without
War
that
II.
attack, America never would have entered World War II. I mean, well, we can't say never because something else might have happened that made us enter, but it was because of that made us enter.
Cue the music.
Dun, dun, dun. But what's interesting about the Pearl Harbor theory is that not only did it bring us into it, but the fact that it really ignited the nation, something that we've only seen a few times. The most recent time we saw it was actually 9/11,
Right.
which is when patriotism really sparked and everyone wanted to go, not everyone, you can't say everyone, but a
Right.
lot of people wanted to go over to Iraq and get people who were responsible
And it was
for
a switch overnight.
Yeah,
The
overnight.
drastic change.
You know,
right?
you saw people who never even thought about military before who were walking down and saying, sign me up and send me over.
Right.
And that's really what happened in World War II. I remember even hearing.
You remember because you were there?
Oh, I remember because I was there. No, but I remember because my grandpa went to World War II with his older brother, and that was their kind of attitude. I mean, they weren't really thinking about military before. My grandpa later went on and became a lawyer, and a good one at that.
Right.
But as soon as something like that happened, they walked down and said, sign me up, send me over. And they went and participated in D-Day.
Okay.
Which is a big thing.
Right.
Especially because I'm sure everyone was terrified, but it's that patriotism that really ignited them. But what's interesting about the Pearl Harbor theory is that everyone thinks that Japan surprised us and Japan attacked us,
Right,
and
right.
America was seen as the superior military and the superior intelligence in the world. So how did someone like Japan, who wasn't bad, but how did they surprise us like that? Now, the thing about Japan is Japan's pretty close in regards to Hawaii. They're not that far off.
Okay.
As far
Plus,
as something.
what else is in between? There's just ocean. Like
Yeah,
there's no other.
there's just
nothing
ocean.
else, right?
But it would be a lot harder for somewhere in Europe, like say
just sneak
Germany,
up
to
on us.
take off and
Uh-huh.
bring an entire aircraft
Uh-huh.
over and really attack our main naval base.
Especially Hawaii is a little more isolated
Yeah.
than continental
Yeah,
United States.
exactly. But the beautiful part about Pearl Harbor is that it was our core naval base. That's where we had a lot of our focus. That's where we had a lot of our
Right.
aircraft carriers, training, stuff like that. And the interesting thing is that we had actually moved, right before Pearl Harbor happened, we moved our main aircraft carriers away from the base, which we really weren't known for doing and was not really planned. So that was kind of weird that we took a lot of our naval ships away from the base right before Pearl Harbor happened, and we moved a lot of our guys away from it. Now, granted, a lot of people did die in Pearl Harbor, but that's where the theory comes into place that FDR knew exactly what was happening, and there's the whole greater good. FDR saw that America needed to be involved in the war in
Right.
order to end the war.
To me, that's almost no longer conspiracy theory, almost as much as that's what they did to
It
win
is,
the
yeah,
day.
yeah, and I mean that's sometimes what happens with conspiracy theories is they become so engraved in our minds that we all kind of go, yeah, that, that actually probably
But
happened.
I think that's a very plausible.
yeah,
For me, I think it's true just because of what you said. Those aircraft carriers, I think it was 2 of them. They were, like you said, they weren't known for let's just go explore this
Yeah.
uncharted
yeah.
water.
Training exercises is what they were known as.
Right. And that just looks to me like you're trying to save your investment.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to still make it look like you haven't figured out what the Japanese are
Right.
doing, while also making it look like they have the upper hand and that oh no you got us, and then hit them back a lot harder.
Uh-huh.
So which we ended up doing.
Right. And like I mean, you can always replace the smaller ships than the planes.
Yeah.
It's a little harder
Yeah.
back then to replace aircraft carriers.
Yeah, and I mean, the hardest part about talking about this conspiracy theory is the fact that you did lose human life, and you don't
Right.
want to talk about the people who
Right,
died during
right.
Pearl Harbor as almost sacrificial lambs. But
Have you seen The Imitation Game?
I have.
Kind of similar.
Yep.
Kind of
Yep.
similar.
Because with the Imitation Game, correct me if I'm wrong, we broke the code, but we didn't want them to know we broke the code.
Right.
So, Benedict Cumberbatch is just fantastic. One
Shout
of my
out
favorite
Ben-
actors.
You know he listens to the pod.
Does he?
Oh yeah. Shout
Oh.
out Benedict Cumberbatch.
Come find me, Benedict.
Oh no, he's one of my favorite modern day actors.
Yeah. Fantastic. Any role he's in. I actually just saw him in Doctor Strange.
Oh,
and
how was that? How
He
was that?
dominated. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, so it's a calculated risk there between, hey, we might actually end up saving more lives, we might doing greater good if some people unfortunately have to die. I don't know what I would do. I really don't. I
Yeah.
don't envy the person that has to make those decisions.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why he was the president of the United States,
Mhm.
because that's his job. Took years off his life.
I agree. That was Benedict
Yeah.
Cumberbatch's job to
Yeah.
play that role, put it on
Yeah.
movie screens across America. He did a great job.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Here's one that always gets me. So anytime you have a successful author come out of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
people say, he or she didn't actually write it. Shakespeare's a classic one. Let me ask you, this is gonna tug at the heart a little bit for you, okay?
Okay.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Did she actually write the Harry Potter series?
Conspiracy theory or not, J.K. Rowling's my girl, and I will attest to that. She wrote the Harry Potter series, and she is a queen.
Okay.
But I do understand, because she is a rags to riches story, which is
Right.
where that comes from a lot. And she was dirt poor, and she had nothing, and people turned down the Harry Potter series, and they said, this is stupid. Who wants to read about a wizard who fights some guy without a nose? not that it was distinguished yet.
Yeah, that was.
But,
that's what drew people
yeah,
off. I
yeah,
heard
that's
that.
what drew
I
people
don't
off.
want.
I can't
my
have a-
villain's got to have a nose. Come on.
I
now.
can't have a villain without a nose. But all of a sudden, she made it big, and it was
Right,
overnight. It was
right.
Harry Potter, and everyone had to have it. And it kicked off just a
Mhm.
billion-dollar business. Just those books alone. And she's, interestingly, I think she was the first billionaire to lose her billionaire status by donating.
Through the Lumos
yeah.
Foundation.
Yeah, through the Lumos Foundation. But before the Lumos, she actually was donating to other charities. But
And
she actually
okay.
lost her billionaire status by
Wow.
donating, because she understood what it was like to be poor.
Right.
So she wanted to give back.
Mhm.
First billionaire to do so, though. Became a billionaire, though, almost overnight. I mean, just absolutely crazy how fast she set off.
Right.
And which is where everyone goes to. We're like, where did she come from? Like,
I don't
how
know,
did
maybe
how did this all of a sudden become this big?
Have you seen her name on a bookshelf? Maybe that's where she got the money from. Yeah, so she becomes successful overnight, and she's for me now. I've heard her speak, give interviews. Now they say it's a paid actress, the
Mhm.
conspiracy people, but I've heard her talk. I've seen her writing. She writes about other stuff,
Mhm.
and she's just such an intelligent woman.
She is. She
that
is.
For me, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to believe it because
Yeah.
it seems a little crazy as it is. But I think she's just so intelligent, and she seems so kind-hearted that I just wish her nothing but success.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think she proved her point with her brilliance with the Fantastic Beasts, because
Oh, it's a
she
great year
literally-
for Harry Potter.
oh, it's a
fans.
great year for
Uh-huh.
Harry Potter fans. Just saw the movie, actually. Great movie. But what she did was she took something that was literally a picture book with
Right.
some descriptions. The Fantastic Beasts was never a movie. We knew that there was a guy named Newt Scamander who was the first magizoologist, and she took that and she created an entire story. And
Mhm.
turns out she's writing scripts for 4 more movies. She
Really?
turned something
Wow.
that was nothing into another 5 movies
Right.
that is going to generate billions of more dollars, because every Harry Potter fan.
Debate's over.
Debate's
done.
over.
It
She's
should
brilliant.
Be done. It
She's
should
brilliant.
Be done. Yeah.
She's brilliant. Get over it.
I think also people are just jealous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, a lot of it stems from jealousy, and I mean, you can't writers are going to come from nowhere sometimes, because
Right.
that's what getting a big break is. Just like actors come from nowhere.
right. Well, Carino,
But-
this has been a blast, man.
Oh, it's been fun. I love talking about conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I don't even have to believe them myself, but they're fun to read about and talk about.
Right, 100%. So you graduate this week.
Graduate
Early
this week.
Graduation. good luck there.
Thanks.
In the real world.
I know, real world's tough, but eventually you have to move beyond the residence halls.
Right. Of Hilbert College. It's been great getting to know you.
Oh yeah. Known you since your freshman year.
Oh yeah.
Little Gabe.
And now I have a radio show.
Now he has a radio show.
Man, it's just been great to know you. It's always fun talking to you. You're so insightful on a bunch of things. Don't laugh, it's true.
Oh, well, it's fun to have someone who listens to my cuckoo theories.
Yeah, again, good luck. I hope it works out that you get in the Air Force. Stop by again. Don't be a stranger. I'll have you on again.
I'll stop by.
All right. Again, this has been Ryan Carino. Thanks for stopping by, Matt.
Thanks for having me, Gabe.
So this will be our final pod of the semester. We'll upload a couple shorter videos throughout winter break, but for all intents and purposes, we're done. We're done for this semester. We're done. We won't be back with our full show until the 3rd, 4th week of January. For some people I went to school with, some of my friends, they're graduating early. So a shout out to Xavier Major and Ryan Carino. You heard them here on the pod. To some of my other friends that are graduating early, Brendan, Michaela, Lauren, Evan. I just wanted to say it's been so great getting to know you guys. Congratulations. I just want to say for you guys, I hope the grass is greener on the other side. For some of you, yeah, it's done. This is as good. Hilbert is as good as it's gonna get. I don't need to mention any names. You know who you are. Yeah, it's just downhill from here. It's just too obvious to not say. But to the rest of you, in all sincerity, good luck and congratulations. If anyone deserves a Greek vacation or a day in the Adirondacks or in Alaska, it's you guys. Keep running wild, yeah? Follow us on Twitter at Runwild Podcast. Like our Facebook page, Runwild Podcast. To all my Vermont listeners, 90.7 FM. And for their live stream, WVTC.net. Again, you have been wasting your time listening to the podcast Running Wild. Thank you for listening.